Use my code PAY10 to get 10% off your next order of Advanced GG. Area Denial Grenade Launchers are some of the best weapons in Destiny 2. And with the release of Heresy, we've got a brand new one. It is called the Psychopomp. There are only a few Area Denial Grenade Launchers in the game, so we're going to see if the Psychopomp lives up to the hype. And I'm going to be going over what the god roll is I think you guys should be going for. But before we get into this, consider subscribing. 91% of the people watching these videos aren't subscribed. What are you guys doing? It costs you absolutely nothing, and all you get in return is Destiny 2 content. Now let's get into this.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So how do you get the Psychopomp Grenade Launcher? All you gotta do is play the Nether activity. Very simple. There are chests all around the Nether, which have a chance of dropping it. And if you play the Expert version, you have a higher chance to get adept versions and the already masterwork versions, which come with double perks. And if you are a solo player, an Expert version is too much for you, don't worry. I made a guide on how you can solo the Expert version and farm those double perks and adept drops. Check out the video right here. Now, the Psychopomp is a legendary arc area denial grenade launcher. It's a burst fire grenade launcher. Each projectile creates a lingering pool on impact that deals damage over time. That is what makes these grenade launchers so good. And if you're playing on the prismatic subclass, this builds your transcendence meter insanely fast. Now here is the Psychopomp stacked up against some other area denial frame grenade launchers. The velocity baton seems to have the best stats, but to be honest, the stats don't really matter. Maybe only like the reload speed really matters, because it's not like having better stats on these makes it do more damage. That lies within the perks that it can get. So when it comes to the barrels that you can get on this, you can get a lot of different things. Personally, I would go with smart drift control. Gives you more stability, velocity, recoil direction, and handling, whereas a lot of the other barrels actually take away stats and don't have as much benefits. For the magazine perks, you have high velocity rounds and implosion rounds. I would shoot for high velocity because it increases your velocity and the reload speed. In the first column of trait perks, you have Envious Arsenal, Eddy Current, Ambitious Assassin, Feeding Frenzy, Pugilist, Stats for All, and Threat Detector. Threat Detector states that if you have 2 or more enemies within 15 meters, you're going to get 40 stability, 60 reload, 100 handling. Pretty good perk to have on this. Stats for All states that hitting 3 separate targets increases weapon handling, stability, and reload and range for a moderate duration. It is very easy to hit 3 separate targets with this grenade launcher, and that's going to give you 35 handling, 10 stability, 5% increased damage fall off, and a 0.95 times reload duration multiplier. Pugilist is going to give you melee energy back whenever you get a kill with this. It's going to give you about 10% melee energy back. You got Feeding Frenzy also. Each rapid kill with this weapon progressively increases the reload speed. This can stack up to 5 times, giving you a 100 reload speed. You got Ambitious Assassin. Overflows the magazine based on number of rapid kills before reloading. The overfill amount per kill on special is 10%. You have Eddy Current, temporarily increases reload speed and handling after sprinting or while amplified. This effect is improved when you are amplified. So after 1.5 seconds of sprinting, you get 20 reload. 0.95 times reload duration multiplier. You're going to get some handling and a handling animation duration multiplier. Then you also have Envious Arsenal, a very good perk to have on a grenade launcher, dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this weapon refills it from reserves. Very good perk to have. Then in the last column, you have Harmony, Elemental Honing, Frenzy, Full Court, Rolling Storm, Demolitionist, and Unrelenting. Unrelenting is going to give you your health back after rapidly defeating targets. It's going to trigger health regeneration. It's going to restore 65 HP of your health. You have Demolitionist on this. Kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. It's going to give you about 10% grenade energy back every time you get a kill with this. Got the new perk Rolling Storm. Final blows grant bolt charge. While amplified, final blows grant additional bolt charge. You got Full Court, increases detonation damage as the projectile travels further before exploding. You also have Frenzy, being in combat for an extended time, increases damage, handling, and the reload of this weapon. It's going to give you a 15% increase to damage, 100 handling, and 100 reload. You have another new perk on here, Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus. This bonus is increased for kinetic weapons. And you have Harmony. Final blows with other weapons improve this weapon's damage and performance for a short duration. It's going to give you a 20% increase to damage and 15 handling for 7 seconds. This also comes with 2 origin trait perks. Comes with the Willing Vessel. Dealing damage or defeating targets with this weapon gradually grant increased stability, handling, reload, and charge rate. This effect gradually decreases over time, but is gained more quickly while near allies. And then if you get one of the double perk versions of this to drop, you can also get the runneth over origin trait, which states that reloading near allies overflows this magazine. So depending on how many allies you have, you can get 2-3 shots in the mag, which is going to be really good. But if you're a solo player, kind of useless. So Guardians, those are all the perks and what they do. What is the god roll that I'm suggesting for you guys? Well, in that first column, I'm going to suggest 2 perks. The first one would be Ambitious Assassin. It's very easy to get multi-kills with this thing, so you're going to be overflowing the magazine quite a bit. And the other one that I actually prefer is Envious Arsenal. Dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this weapon will refill it from reserves. I really like this perk, especially when you're pairing this with other weapons that have auto loading or another weapon that already has Envious Arsenal. In the gameplay over on the moon, I'm using the new Barodiad SMG that refills its magazine whenever you stop firing. And I'm using the heavy machine gun from the Dawning that has auto loading. And if you notice in the gameplay, I can just cycle through all of those weapons without ever having to reload, because the SMG is reloading itself. The heavy machine gun has auto loading holster that reloads itself. I just do damage with those two, and that will reload my Psychopomp Grenade Launcher. So I will never have to reload as long as I'm cycling through all my weapons, which is really cool. And in the last column, there's only going to be 2 perks that I'm going to suggest, and that's going to be Rolling Storm. Getting stacks of bolt charge is just so beneficial in PvE right now, especially with the artifact perk that makes the lightning strikes deal more damage. And the cool thing about Rolling Storm on this grenade launcher is that it says final blows grant bolt charge, but if you just shoot this at a target that has a lot of health and it just keeps ticking for damage, the bolt charge will continue to just climb up and up. So Rolling Storm is extremely good on this. And then I'm also going to suggest Elemental Honing. I wasn't really sold on this when I first saw it, but after playing with it, it's actually extremely easy to get this up to ×4, ×5. In the background gameplay, I'm using a strand weapon, the arc grenade launcher, the solar submachine gun, and I'm on the void subclass. So I can very easily activate ×4 elemental honing pretty much all the time, and the buff lasts for an entire 20 seconds. And at ×4, I'm walking around with a 30% increase to damage for 20 seconds. If this was a kinetic weapon, ×4 would actually do 35%, and a ×5 would do 40%. It does more damage for kinetic weapons, but since Psychopomp is an energy, it maxes out at 35. So when I'm walking around with my ×4, like I said, that's 30% extra damage at all times with the Psychopomp for an entire 20 seconds. That is pretty good if you ask me. So Guardians, what is the god roll looking like? I'm going to say go with Smart Drift Control, go with High Velocity Rounds, Envious Arsenal, Elemental Honing, and a Reload Speed Masterwork. That is the roll that you want if you want to be doing optimal damage with this thing. But if you just want to be stacking up those bolt charges so you can rain down that lightning strike, I would say maybe go with Ambitious Assassin and Rolling Storm. And one more god roll I would suggest is maybe the Pugilist Demolitionist way, just in case you guys want to get your abilities back super fast. Those are the 3 god rolls I'm suggesting that you guys try out. That's going to do it for the video. If you guys found this helpful, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.